Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we will have a 2-minute Thursday where we talk about a topic and learn something reasonable, valuable in 2 minutes. And I want to talk today about something that is simple but powerful, which is vomit drafts. So to give you a little bit of context, the other day I was thinking, why is it always so hard for me to get started with a new project? You probably have been in this situation where you get a new project, you have done your research, and although it's maybe a nice little design task, something that you usually love to do, still bringing the first ideas on the paper is incredibly hard. So I rather start fixing stuffs on my walls and get myself a soda before I find myself something else I can procrastinate into. Then I was wondering if there are also other architects out there that have the same problem of getting started. So I went to Google, I typed how to start an architecture project. That didn't bring me anywhere. But then I typed in how to start an architecture project fast. And that brought me to an article of Architect, which brought me to a video of Sidney Pollack, which brought me to an interview of Frank Gehry, where he gets asked, is starting hard? So in that interview, he answers that, you know it is. I don't know what you are doing when you start, but I clean my desk, I make a lot of stupid appointments, which I make sound important, avoidance, delay, and denial. That's exactly how I feel. He kept going by saying that he's always scared of that he's not going to know what to do, and it's a terrifying moment, and when he starts then, he's always amazed that it actually wasn't that bad. So that made me realize that it's not just me out there who feels like this, and this might be a great 2 minutes topic. So the question is, why is it so difficult to get started? And the answer is because as soon as we start working on our project, we start to fail. And I think that's especially true for design projects. It's something between procrastination, creative block, and too high expectation. First moves never live up to the dreams of greatness that we have in our head. As long as the idea is contained in our brain, it's perfect. As soon as we get it out, often it shows to be a disappointment, which also leads me towards the point that most great work requires simply consistent hard work. But that's a topic for a different video and a different day. Over the years, my idea shifted of how I should start a project. So when I look at most of my projects, they typically would stagnate at the beginning. There's a lot of scribbling, researching, and thinking, because we need to be prepared to make our first few lines, right? Then after quite a while, finally we decide to create some geometry. That would be somewhere at the middle where the project starts to pick up, and towards the end, everything needs to be rushed because nothing is done and we have wasted a lot of time at the beginning. So if we look at this point here, we could say that we need to change something about it. So over the years, I have been watching colleagues in architecture, and there has been always a certain reluctance to start making geometry quickly. The general understanding is that we want to do our research diagrams and sketches before creating our first geometry, so we don't miss out exploring the project's potential. However, I would argue that starting with a rough 3D sketch builds a better environment for exploration. And this is where I want to go with this: momentum. Without momentum, our project isn't going anywhere. Putting geometry on the table is something pretty much that kicks everyone's ass into a productive mode. So my design process is most successful and efficient when I accept, and that should be obvious, but I always need to remind myself that the first draft of my design will not be the final draft, and I allow myself to design a vomit draft, also known as a shitty first draft. So my tip for any new project: start with a vomit draft. Forget about pretty, forget about pride, focus only on getting from a point of no geometry to a point with geometry. So usually that doesn't look very pretty, things are flying around, it actually looks like a pile of trash, but it gets the idea across, creates momentum, and gets the project going in the shortest amount of time. All the time that you're able to save at the beginning, you will be able to use at the end when you actually need it. So these are my 2 minutes to this topic. Let me know if this was useful in the comments, and see you next time.